Where is my daughter?
She's gone.
They don't know it yet, but they picked the wrong father. That line alone tells you exactly what kind of movie 1 Mile wants to be. And honestly, it's hard to argue with the confidence. The problem is what comes after the confidence fades. Before we begin, would you please support me? Subscribing is free and very important to me. Please subscribe for better analysis and more videos. Paramount and Republic Pictures have released the official trailer for 1 Mile, an action thriller that arrives directly on VOD later this month. No theatrical run, no build-up, just straight to streaming. And not just one movie, but 2 chapters released at the exact same time. 1 Mile Chapter 1 and 1 Mile Chapter 2, 2 parts, 0 waiting. On paper, that sounds bold. In execution, it feels more like a workaround. At the center of the story is Danny, played by Ryan Phillippe. He's a former Special Forces soldier trying to reconnect with his teenage daughter during a college road trip. You already know where this is going. A wrong turn, a suspicious group, a hidden, violent community that sees them as a threat. The daughter is taken, the father is left behind, and what follows is a familiar descent into survival mode. If you've seen one version of this story, you've seen most of them. Chapter 1 sets up the premise. Danny and his daughter are traveling together, trying to rebuild a strained relationship. Before that emotional thread has much time to breathe, an unexpected detour puts them in the crosshairs of an isolated group operating far from civilization. The daughter is kidnapped, and the movie shifts gears into full pursuit mode. Danny is alone. He's outnumbered, but he has training. And the film makes it very clear that training is all that matters. Chapter 2 escalates things further. Danny is forced to return to a remote island, the same place where he previously fought against this violent community. This time, the motivation is pure revenge. His daughter has been taken not just as leverage, but as punishment. The enemies know who he is. They're prepared. They're waiting. And that's the full arc. From the trailer alone, 1 Mile feels like it's built entirely out of genre muscle memory. Former soldier, kidnapped daughter, ruthless enemies, remote location, relentless pursuit. There's nothing inherently wrong with that formula. The issue is that the film doesn't appear interested in twisting it, challenging it, or even refreshing it. It just repeats it. Ryan Phillippe has always been a solid presence in action-adjacent roles, and here he brings the expected physical intensity. He looks capable. He looks angry. He looks determined. But the character itself doesn't seem to offer much beyond that. Danny is defined almost exclusively by what he can do, not by who he is. The supporting cast includes Thomas Howell, Richard Harmon, Sarah Canning, and Sage Linda. They're all capable performers, but the trailer doesn't give them much room to stand out. Most of their moments appear to serve the same purpose. Move the plot forward, raise the threat level, get out of the way of the next action beat. Structurally, the decision to split the story into 2 films released simultaneously is the most interesting thing about 1 Mile. It suggests a longer narrative that couldn't be contained in a single runtime, but it also raises questions. If there's no waiting period between chapters, why split it at all? Why not release it as one extended film? The answer feels less creative and more practical. Both chapters are directed by Adam Davidson, a filmmaker with extensive television experience. He's directed episodes of shows like Bosch Legacy, La Brea, and Ordinary Joe, as well as the TV movie Recon. That background shows in the pacing and structure suggested by the trailer. 1 Mile feels episodic, like a stretched-out TV arc repackaged as a feature-length event. The writing team also reinforces that impression. Chapter 1 is written by T.J. Brady, Rashid Newson, and John Hlavin, based on a story by John Hlavin and Josh Center. Chapter 2 is written by Brady and Newson, based on a story by Hlavin, Brady, and Newson. It's a lot of hands on a story that ultimately feels very straightforward. The production team includes Aaron Kaplan, Michael Lohman, Jaden Kaplan, Ryan Phillippe himself, Chad Oakes, Michael Frisleff, and Davidson. There's no shortage of experience behind the scenes. What's missing, at least from the trailer, is a sense of risk. Everything about 1 Mile feels safe, predictable, comfortably familiar, and maybe that's the point. This is the kind of movie designed for a specific audience. Viewers who want action without complication, revenge without ambiguity, a clear line between good and bad. If you're watching late at night and just want to see a capable protagonist dismantle a group of villains one by one, this might do exactly what you're asking for. But if you're hoping for something that challenges the formula, the trailer doesn't offer much hope. The marketing leans hard into the toughness of its lead and the cruelty of its antagonists. The tagline tells you everything you need to know. These men messed with the wrong father. There's no mystery there, no question about how it ends. Only the path between the setup and the resolution. And that path looks very well worn. Still, there's something oddly fascinating about the decision to drop both chapters at once. It invites viewers to treat the experience like a mini-marathon. No cliffhanger frustration, no waiting weeks for answers, just one continuous story broken into two labeled halves. Whether that structure helps or hurts the film remains to be seen. 1 Mile Chapter 1 and Chapter 2 will be released together on VOD platforms starting February 20, 2026. No theaters, no box office numbers, just immediate audience reaction. If you're the kind of viewer who enjoys these stripped-down action thrillers, you'll probably know within the first 10 minutes whether this is for you. And if you're already rolling your eyes at the premise, you're probably not wrong either. I'll be watching mostly out of curiosity, not to see what happens, but to see how much effort the film makes to justify its own existence. If you made it this far, you already know the type of movie this is. The question is whether familiarity feels comforting or exhausting. Until next time, keep an eye on the films that skip theaters entirely. Sometimes they're hidden gems. Sometimes they're exactly what you expect. I'll see you in the next breakdown.